Let me bring on board Mr. P.H. Ravi Kumar, Interim Non-Executive Chairman with SKS Micro Finance. Mr. Kumar, morning. Thank you for joining us. First, a comment on the new RBI guidelines or new RBI policy for the entire MFI sector.
Good morning, Nikunj. Just to say that this is only a notification of the recommendations made by the Malegaon committee, and substantially they have been accepted. There are some one or two minor tweakings which have taken place in regard to the quantum of loan which the Malegaon committee had recommended at 35,000 hike to 50,000 in the second and subsequent cycles. Otherwise, I would say our sector should be largely happy that these have been formally notified now. The challenge for the sector, of course, is on the governance side, because the guidelines very clearly say that on some of the aspects of the policy notifications, the regulators would work with the industry associations to ensure that the spirit of the regulations are completely followed.
Mr. Ravi Kumar, good morning. But how does the move help you individually at SKS in the Andhra Pradesh state, given that you are still under the State Government Act?
Two, three things. SKS is a pan-Indian organization, and therefore it's not. It has exposure in AP definitely, but we are not unlike some of the MFIs, just an AP phenomena. So to that extent, we are affected. The second is there is a clarity about non-AP portfolio. Today, the non-AP portfolio for us is almost 70-75%. So therefore, that clarity helps us in growing business in the other states. The other major issue is, I think, this brings into question the relevance of continuation of the AP-MFI Act. You would have seen the article by Professor M.S. Sriram, who has been a trenchant critic of this sector, that he now feels that MFI Act of the AP need no longer be there and it can be repealed. So we believe that coming from such a person who was championing the need for such an act, himself saying that it is no longer needed, helps us.
But Mr. Ravi Kumar, the RBI regulations are likely to help non-AP MFIs more. Don't you agree with that? If you see, at the time of the AP Act, most of the MFIs were in AP. The non-AP MFIs are very few. Regulations cannot be made in a federally constituted country like ours for a state. It cannot be. And I think the organizations also should be pan-Indian. I give you a comparison with the banking industry. If you look at the cooperative banks, which are local and restricted in geographic nature, and look at the national banks, you look at the relevance of cooperative banks in today's world and of national banks. I think that would give you an idea of what happens if you have state-specific or geographic-specific or product-specific organizations. Right. Mr. Ravi Kumar, now you've been looking to change SKS's business model after Mr. Akula's exit from the company. Tell us a bit more about what strategy are you going to look at right now, and are you looking away from the pure interest income from MFI loans?
Yes, I would say there are two things. One is we were expecting the central government MFI bill to be admitted into the parliament, to be introduced in the parliament this winter session. It has not happened. In fact, we believe it's extremely necessary that the bill is introduced, because it sets up the framework for the areas of operations of an MFI. The strategic shift that SKS is making is that we recognize microfinance as a large and necessary vertical in the entire financial needs of the customer segment that we are operating. But it is not the sole need. You have thrift, you have pensions, you have life risk cover, you have payment solutions. All these are aspects which are covered in the draft MFI bill that the central government was to introduce in the parliament this winter session. We believe it is absolutely necessary that that is introduced. At what pace and in what manner the act would get implemented is something best left to regulators. But the framework has to be put in place, a legal framework, because it will also prevent any other state following the act that AP followed, and which was disastrous for the sector.
Mr. Kumar, Mr. Akula was the face of the company. He was the face of SKS Micro Finance. So who fills in the gap there?
No, see, let us accept that the space owes largely to Mr. Vikram Akula where it is today. He has, in a sense, I would say, the builder of microfinance institutions in India. He is the one who successfully scaled up. He is passionate about this space. So therefore, clearly, it's a question. I think I always make this reference that what after Mr. Wagul was a question in ICICI when we were there and Mr. Kamath came. And as a board-run company that SKS is today, we have no doubt that the company will look at the opportunities and the challenges in the sector and take steps to ensure that meeting the requirements of the customer segments and being profitable would be balanced.
All right, Mr. Kumar, appreciate your time and thank you for your insights.